Hi everybody, welcome to this video on Roland Zenbeats. I'm going to record a number of videos on Zenbeats, which hopefully you will be able to use as a manual really for the future for you to learn how to use it unless you already know. I'm trying to explain as much as I can of the app. But I'm going to skip some of probably the functionality which are obvious if you think they're not. So just let me know in the comments and I will respond accordingly. So let's start. This is the first video you come to see when you open Roland Zenbeats. As you can see, scrolling through a number of images. So at the bottom you have a selection for creating a new song, to open a song, and also to go to the lessons. On the top, starting from the right hand side, you have an option to go to the store. You see a trolley there, and then on the left hand side you have an option to go to the menu. So let's start going into the menu. So let's click on here. So the first selection from the top is language, so you can choose your own language. The second one is a sign out. The reason that there is a sign out is because the first time you run Roland Zenbeats, it will ask you to sign in if you already have an account, or if you don't, you have to register, of course. And when you are signed in, of course, you have the option to sign out. You have an option to open a song, check the settings, go into the store, click on the help where you can see the private policy, which will redirect you to the Roland website. Let's go back to Zenbeats, or click on support, which will redirect you to the Roland support and the backstage, where you can enter your email account, your password, your login, and then you will be able to gain support, fill in forms, etc. And ultimately under the help we have the about, which is very useful because it shows you the version that I'm using. And that's important because functionality will change. So I'm using version 1.1.0.7684. That's the build. So let's click on close and let's continue. So again, on the menu, under the help, you have the exit, which will exit the application. If let's go back a little bit on the open song. It shows you this menu. At the moment, the selection is on the My Songs. And if you look, there is the selection of on device, on the Google Drive or Microsoft OneDrive, which I have installed. Here there is only one song called Simulator, which comes as a demo. Okay. On the top right side, you can change the view. Here we go. Particularly useful if you have many songs, and then you can change the sort by time, ascending or descending, and the same alphabetical ascending or descending. And of course you can search. You can click on the bar. At the moment I have connected an external keyboard, but you can type in to search. Okay, so in this case, if you search for Simulator, you will find that because it's the only song that is there. Okay. Then we have the selection of my mixes. You can record your mixes from your song, also my stems, each individual tracks. And you can also have access to the lessons. Zenbeats comes by default with a number of lessons, 1 to 11. Very useful. They are a lesson that they are guided through. So you have to click on the screens, on the next button, etc., etc. So they're good as an introduction. Let's go back again to the main screen, and actually before continuing on from the menu, you have a selection of a new song here, which allow you to create a new song, open song, which we have already seen because it redirects you to this menu where you can open the song, and lessons again here, which redirects you to what you already seen a moment ago, where you can choose your lesson. Okay, of course. Before I forget, if you want to see a lesson, just click on a lesson, then click on the button here, open. It will, and here it is, an example. It says, welcome to Zenbeats. Before you jump in, let's take a quick tour. So you click next, and it starts to guide you through. Okay. Are you sure to want to exit the lessons? I click on the X there and I click OK. And here we are. It leaves you in that file or project for that lesson 1. So I click on the menu again and I go to the home screen, and that is where we were a moment ago. If I click on the trolley, it will load the store screen. You saw momentarily a window which showed we said load store in store items. Here it shows you the home screen where you can see all loops in preset with some advertisements as well of what is new. On the very top here you can redeem, and on the very top and right hand side you have your username as you are logged on. Under here you can choose any genre, ambient, dance, etc, etc, and here you can search. Click on there and type in search for something, so like EDM. So as you can see, it brings back the relevant searches based on what you typed in. Okay, then moving on, we have a section on loops, a section on presets, and it's very simple really. You just click on the play button, and you click again to stop it, so you can preview the particular preset. You can click on it and it gives you more information, like the size, which is quite important, the number of instruments, buttons, etc, etc. When you are confident that this is what you need, you just click add and it will be added in your cart. Moving on the unlocks, you have two possibilities. You can unlock iOS unlock V1, and if you click on it, it gives you the information. So the main feature are all bundle instruments, effective features, the unlock sample verse plus 500 megabyte content pack, unlock tracked effects and mix limitation, and you have a very important the AUV3 support, and that is 186 megabyte. As you can see, I own that. Then there is also an ultimate unlock V1. If you click on it, it will give you the ability to have all in upload tracks, all in up preset, over 6,000 sounds, and you will be able to use that across all platform and devices. For these you need 150 points, which I haven't purchased. If you click on it, again, it will be put on the cart. Moving on the offer, so you can see there is an offer to the Roland Cloud subscription. If you're interested, where you can download legendary or in some cases retro instruments, which is quite fun. My stuff shows you what you already have, so what you unlocked, and the loops that I've installed and the preset. It tells you the percentage, you can delete them, the status they are installed, and you can also reload them if you wish so. Then ultimately on the cart it says one item there because that is what I put in. It says that I can remove it. The price is 4 points, the size is 2 megabyte. If you're happy with that, of course you can check out and you proceed with the payment. For now I click remove because that is not what I want to do. And let's go back to the main screen, clicking on the arrow there. So let's start. So let's click on the new song, and here we are. And the video that the screen that it shows you now is a screen for a drum track. That is what it is set by default to open, but you can also change that. If you click on the X button here, it shows you what is called the loop builder screen, and which is one of the way that you can work with loops, but it's not the only one. And also you can choose a time view, which is the more traditional view that you see in those. Okay, for the first part of this tutorial, I'm going to concentrate on the timeline, and I'm going to explain as much as I can. And then in the future, I will be moving on to explain also the loop builder screen as well. So let's go through the interface. So again, starting from the top left, if you click on that, you have the menu, which we have seen earlier. I'm going to come back in a moment to the settings because there's quite a lot to talk about. Of course, the Roland branding here, the record button, which allows you to record, the play button, the stop button, the loop button. Then if you click here, beat per minute, it says 120. Here you have the selection where you can see the tempo is set to 120 beats per minute. You can tap, of course, your BPM, tap, and it will change it. Okay, or you just double click on that and you type what you think it should be. The time signature 4/4, but you can also change that to whatever you prefer, and you can decrease that or you can increase the bit per minute with these two buttons. You have some sync option, so in this case you can have enable to link, which at the moment is disabled. If you wish to, you can enable or disable the start and stop transport, and you can compensate also for latency compensation in milliseconds. Metronome, at the moment on play it will be off, when you record it will be on, when you pre-roll is on, and that's the volume which you can change. Moving on, you see an arrow here, so let's click on it to reveal additional options. So the next one is like a grid. It says that the snap to grid is activated, so you can snap to grid. The follow play cursor is off. That means that if you click play, if you go over the screen here, it will not follow the cursor. If you, of course, you activate it, it will follow the cursor, and therefore you will see the screen scrolling and always keeping track of where the cursor is. You can have some swing, and which I show you in a moment. Actually, I can show you right now. Let's click on the track, and let's click on the instrument track, and then let's add a synth for now. Very quickly, let's double click on that. Let's double click again. Let's click on this arrow, paint, and let's point to some note like that. And let's go on to the screen here. Let's activate the swing. As you can see the effect of swing there on the notes. You can change the preset. Okay, you can see the effect and also the strength. So let's deactivate it now, and let's click play. Let's change the loop. So in here, let's click on that and move it down here, so we will keep repeating that section. I'm going to change now several times the effect of the swing, so you can see how it operates. So hopefully you've been able to hear the difference, which you can of the swing from there. Moving on, we have a key, which is quite important if you want to set the key you want to work on. So if you notice, let's go back into the screen. You have like a piano roll here. At the moment you see all the notes of a chromatic scale. If you click on key and let's say it is on, let's say that is C instead of a major, let's say that it's a minor. Okay, at the moment you don't see any difference, but if you click on here and you activate key lock for the piano roll, voila, it will change. And as you can hear, it is a minor scale. That's quite key. So let's deactivate that. Then let's move on. This is a section where you can activate the MIDI learn. And here it gives you some advice. It says the MIDI learn, touch a control, then move the hardware control you want to latch to that. And you click OK, and you can operate like that. let's exit that, and the last one is the MIDI input settings, which it's a shortcut to these settings, which we'll go through in a moment. Next, we have an icon to open a song which you've seen before. Let's click out. Then you have an option to save the song, and this option is to share, where you can create a mix, stems, or transfer songs. So if you create a mix, you just give it a name, you select the format, then you say, I want you to render the loop region on the entire song. If you want to do it in real time or not, I don't suggest you do that. And then you click create a mix, and then you will be able to save it. Similar thing for the stems, but it will export songs individual track, as it says here. And then transferring song, which of course you need to save the songs before it allows you to do that, where you can select the song type, standard or not, the location and image, etc. When you have done that, and then it gives you the ability to transfer if you have other version connected of Roland Zenbeats. Okay, let's exit there. Here you have an undo, redo button. Here you have a button to select the cursor, which you can see here. And here it gives you a number of options, which you will see later on. Then here you have a button to switch between loop mode and timeline. Here you have a button, again, that changes depending on where you are. The first selection is to show system starts. The second one is to show send tracks on the screen. And the last one is to show master track. So let's enable that. You see the master track has come out. And also the send track, which at the moment we don't have any, but we'll see them later. The next one is a mixer button. Here we go. It shows you the mixer, which we will go through later on. And the last one shows you the on-screen instrument. Okay, let's click on that. This is the area where you work on. On the left-hand side, you have images of your tracks. Here you have all the regions which you can select. Here you have a timeline, and you can touch on it to move the cursor. The cursor is important because if you want to split, for example, regions, it will split where your cursor is. You can move the loop here, as I showed you earlier, the end point, like in this case, a major 4, or the starting point as well. Of course, you can select. When you select the track, you can see it changes color. And also you see this settings button up here. If you click on it, it gives you another context menu where you can have additional selection, which again we'll go through when it comes to it. Of course, you can click and hold, or touch and hold, and we'll show you the same menu, which is very useful as a shortcut. You can click instead of hold, moving. So, or touch and hold and move. This allows you to move the region, okay, which is very handy. You have a vertical scroll bar, up and down. You have plus and minus to change the zoom. And as you can see now, it started to go beyond the size of the screen. This is an iPad Pro. And the same here, horizontally. You can move the position of the window, same here. Let's move the context here, somewhere there, so it's not in the way. Let's change the size. Here we go. Fantastic. Underneath these tracks here, you find a plus sign. If you click on it, it allows you to add additional tracks like audio tracks, instrument tracks, drum tracks, sound tracks, and also track template. You can do the same here, clicking on the plus sign. Here we go. This button here on the bottom left is to reveal settings for the track. So you click on it, and it will show you this section here. And you click in again to close it. Okay, And let's quickly delete tracks. Let's click on the setting there, and let's click delete. And then let's click on that, hold, and to reveal the context menu, click delete again to delete the track. Let's do the same for this one. If that doesn't work, reveal the track, go to these settings and then click delete. Okay, and here we are, master track, which is what you have as default, which you cannot delete. Okay, and if you change here what you see, for example, you say I don't want to see master track, this is what the screens will look like if you don't have any tracks, okay, apart from the master track. In this case, I want to see the master track. Here you see measure, okay, and here you see the countdown, sorry, the position when you're playing, which will change based on the measure. So bar 2, 3, 4, bar 3, etc., etc. Right, let's go back to the context menu and let's click on settings. So let's start from the top. Here we have a window scale factor, which you can change if you like. And that will change the scale of the window that at your own preferences. So let's keep it back to, to 100 if I can. Here we go. You can change the button height. You can enable animation or not. And then, very interestingly, you can have on the loop builder, which we'll see another time, drawing pattern, also drawing pattern scroll bar, and also with way scroller. And you can change also the way scroller. And ultimately, you can change the color scheme. So what this means, and let me show you straight away. Let's click on OK. Let's go back on the loop. Let's click on plus track, and let's create a drum track easily, and let's double click on that. Oops, I clicked on the record button, which is not what I wanted. Let's click stop. Let's double click on that. There we go. Okay, let's click exit and let's click play again. As you can see here, it shows you the pattern. Okay, let's go to the menu, the setting where we were. The animation is enabled. It shows draw pattern. Let's change that to draw way scroller, and let's click OK. Let's click play. You see the way. And if you also see the instrument at the bottom here, clicking on that, and if you select this option, you can see the wave there as well. Let's go back to the settings. Let's select it to do a wave scroller as well, and let's select the wave scroller to fast for now. And let's click play. And now see how it changes, changing the speed. Let's say medium, and let's click OK. See how slow it is? Okay. Let's go back to the settings and let's put that to fast. And let's go back to the timeline. Back again to the settings. So we were here, color scheme. This is quite interesting. Sometimes it is overlooked, but there are some screens, for example, where you can where you import or read files from the local device, and sometimes they're not very clear depending on the color scheme. So it's worth to remember that you can change the color scheme here. General, your device name. When you have when you open a new song, if you want to go to the loop builder view or if you want to go to the timeline view. As I was mentioning earlier, the autosave, it was after 2 minutes of inactivity, it will say. If you want to automatically download your stuff or manually, if you want to update your core content, and if you want to show on-screen QWERTY keyboard or not. Audio. Of course, my device is iOS audio, don't have anything else attached. The buffer size in samples, which you can change. You can do a test, play the audio. You can calibrate the recording, and it will show you here. You can set the volume, it gives you minimum latency 1024. You can run the calibration. Okay, let's stop. Okay, so it says the minimum latency is 1024 and recording latency is 5052. Okay, let's click close. Then what do we have? And it will show you some information on the sample rate, the recording latency, which we have just seen, the audio low input and high input, which is set to iPad microphone because I don't have anything else attached. The same on the audio low and high output. At the moment it says speaker, so it's going out to the speaker 1 and speaker 2 because it's stereo on the iPad Pro, and then if you can enable background audio and multi-core support. Okay, you can move to the MIDI input, which we have seen also earlier from the MIDI learn section. There was an option for MIDI settings. And here you can auto-load MIDI inputs if you wish so. You can invert the expression, you can block the expression pedal, you can invert the sustain, and you can listen to MIDI beat clocks, and also to song start position, which are enabled. MIDI output, you can allow the MIDI notes through if you wish no. You can allow MIDI CCs through, and also sending the MIDI clock, which are quite useful. Plugins. You can scan plugins, and also you can for new, or you can rescan them all. You can enable plugin delay compensation, which is very handy, and also avoid some crashes sometimes. Okay, let's click OK here, and we go back to the main screen. So let's focus now on the on-screen, so that you know how that works. So let's click on that. So here it is. I have selected the drum. Of course, if I have another instrument, that will change. So, but let's start with that. So the first selection is this one. So here we have the instrument: kick, rider, on-box, snare, etc. And I can hit those when I record as well in real time. So let's double click to create a region. Okay, let's click record and try. Okay, I have recorded that. I can click on this arrow to extend it. Of course, this was only set to a bar measure. That is why it hasn't recorded any more than that. Okay, let's click play. Let's stop. Let's double click on this, and you can see what it has recorded. Okay. We have another view here, and in this view, if I click play, it doesn't show you the waves, the different waves, sorry. Okay, let's click stop. Let's go back to the first one. As you can see in the first one, I have also some settings. If I click on the settings, I can invert the position, look, and the kick has gone to the bottom, and if I click again, it moves up, so you can invert that. Here you have a selection of how to split the screen, which is very handy. Now, this is what you saw because the drum was selected, but if instead of a drum I have another instrument, let's click on the plus track, let's select an instrument track, and let's, when you select an instrument track, you have the selection of having all plugins. At the moment in this device, I don't have installed any audio unit device that any audio unit v3, a UV freeze installed, and but I will install them later to show how that works. So at the moment there are only Zenbeats plugins as default. So you can select to see all the plugins, the audio units, the Zenbeat plugins, and also plugins which have been put in quarantine. So let's select Zenbeat plugins, here they are, and you can try each one of them. When you're happy, you click on the plus sign. So let's try Electrosynths, which is this one. The reason I brought you here is because when you have selected an instrument track, if you look at the button here, the screen changes. So you have a keyboard now. So how does it work? On the button, on this button allows you to choose the usual for pitch, modulation. Okay. Here you can select the octave. You can move up and down, and you can also do it through the arrows. Okay. Okay. Works better when you touch than actually the mouse, which is quite interesting. And this is the first view, of course, so you can select this one where you see the notes. Okay. And the third view, again, a different view. Okay. What is interesting, however, sticking on the first one, if you click on settings, is the pitch bend on drag. This is what you can see. And you can also set it, this is quite important because if you touch and drag, you have a pitch bend effect. So let's try. Yep. And also you can show all the notes, which is quite useful if you need to. Let's click on the second view. Here on the settings you have a grid column which you can change instead to an octave, but you can have 4 pads and so on, so you can change that as you wish. Then you can invert them if you wish so, and then you can decide what effect you want to have on the x-axis, like the pitch, or on the y-axis, like the timbre. So let's try, and the way to do that, you click on a note and you hold, or you, of course with the mouse, or you can do it with touch, and then you move up and down and left and right. So there's no timbre selection here, but if I move left and right, I have pitch selection, which is quite handy. Next view, kind settings, which are not applicable in this case, and of course the divider, which we have seen. So this is the on-screen instrument, which is really good, really interesting. So let's click on the plus track again. Let's add an audio track, and as you can see on the audio track, the button, the on-screen instrument, is not available because it's an audio track. You can see now that I have the level of the input from the microphone, this bar, where this next bar instead is the volume for the output. Okay. Next, what I want to show you is if you click on it or touch, it will expand, and you have now a selection for solo, mute, record, or the track for recording, and also for automation. If you click on it, it will give you option to add a new automation. Then you can choose for volume, pan, mute, solo, low, and high cuts. Okay. Next, what I want to expand on is actually this button, which will reveal the additional parameters. So let's click on it. These are the additional parameters for each track, and this parameter change depending on the track selected. So have a look. As you can see, the MIDI appears here, and here disappears because it's an audio track, and on the master is different again. Let's stick to the master because it's the simple one. So as you can see on the master, it gives you option to select the output. There's only one. Go up and down in decibel and to set the volume. Here you can have some option like clear mute, clear solo, or freeze all the tracks, which help you with managing performance. You can have a filter section, which is quite good. If you act on the right hand side, click and hold, touch, you can move, you can do a low pass filter and the opposite high pass filter, which is quite good. Then you have a section on plugins. You click on plus audio effects, and then you can choose the effect you want to apply, and just you can test some of them, and when you're happy you click on the plus sign. You can of course search on them, and when you finish press enter, and then you can also close it like that. Okay, let's move to the audio track. So in the audio track you have selection for the input. Here we go. In this case only a channel 1. Send routing, and this is important when you apply effects, if you want to send it pre or after. So your selection of pre-send audio or post-send audio, you can force the menu, and also you can activate the monitors as well, which you need to be very careful on this, because you can have a loop effect between microphone and what you and the output. Here you have set in for the volume again, your settings for the track, where you can rename it, cut and copy, freeze the track, change the track icons to your leisure, and you can save the track as a template or you can delete it. Then you can solo, muted, harmful recording. You can select the pan, the center or not. Okay, you can go like that or like that, and then double click to go back to the center. The filter work in a similar way as just explained. Then you have the ability of adding plugins. Again, click on audio effects, select your plugins. Okay, and these windows works similar to other windows. You click on there, you can see all the plugins, all the unit, the Zenbeats plugin, the quarantine. And then here you can also you have an option on audio track as well, MIDI tracks or instrument tracks or drum tracks, to add send. So you click on send, so you can send the tracks output to, for example, a chorus, which is this one. You click the X to close it, you can see you have a new tracks, which is a send tracks. And hopefully this explained when earlier on when I said that you can disable the view send tracks. If you click on that, it will disappear. Okay, and here on the send tracks, you can see that send a chorus has been applied, and then you can click plus send. Okay, and to send it to another track, and you can continue like that. Right, go back to the audio track. So we've gone through that. So let's go to an instrument track, and you can see that what the changes is the MIDI here. You click on MIDI, you have selection for MIDI in, all, MIDI output, all, advanced MIDI. Here you have a selection of accepting all MIDI input devices, and which channel, in this case Omni, but you can select only specific channel, the same for the output or Omni. You can also send MIDI to a particular track, drums for example. External MIDI output channel, don't send, or you can select the channel and then click OK or cancel. Solo, mute, arm for recording, the usual pan, filter, any plugins, and also send to tracks. Drum tracks are very similar as well. Okay, I'm going to stop here for this tutorial. This is just an introduction to the user interface, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.